Hello and welcome to another Elevated Marketing Chat. My name is Jennifer Denney. I am the owner of Elevated Marketing Solutions. We are an online marketing agency that delivers solutions by accurately tracking your data, and I do mean your, because everybody has specific data that is specific to their needs, and that's what we do here at Elevated Marketing Solutions. So, this is an exciting episode. We are getting ready to go into 2021, pretty big. I'm sure many of you would like to just, skip past 2020, but, there's a lot of good things that did come out of this as well. And if anything, we learned to be a little bit stronger. So if you're joining us live today, please give us a like, share, comment. We're here for you. We truly appreciate it, and it helps us get our reach out there just a little bit more, and maybe there's somebody out there that really needs to hear what we have to say. So as per usual, we always start with a quote, so let's go ahead and get that up on the screen. And our quote is going to be, "Ambition is the passage to success, and persistence is the vehicle you arrive in." So, you've got to have ambition. You've got to think really big. And that's the passage, and the way to go in order to be successful is to be ambitious. But persistently getting up every day and doing it over and over and over is the vehicle that gets you to that success. Elevated Marketing Chat, we've been doing this a little bit over a year. October was kind of our full year that we've been doing it. And every time we do it, we get a little bit better. And so we just got to be persistent on it and just keep going with it. So today's topic, we're going into 2021, and everybody always wants to know, what are the digital marketing trends for 2021 and what should I be paying attention to? And, I'll really just kind of start off, and I'm really not a big fan of making predictions in our industry because it's just changing so quickly. It's really hard to know that, this is what's going to be hot and this is what's going to be not. But what we can do is kind of look back at what was successful in 2020 and carry that on. Even though this wasn't, a normal year, there's still things that we can take from that and help us kind of predict, what's going to come out of in 2021. So, we have to admit, though, with as fast as things change, that sometimes we have to scramble, and, something major could come out, and it does all the time, and all of a sudden the next day we're like, oh crap, we need to change all of this, we need to move around, and it's just like fire alarms everywhere. But that's kind of, the business that we roll in. My list today, though, is not going to be anywhere near to listing everything that you should pay attention to in 2021. This is merely our perspective and where we're coming from. And so, I think there's going to be a lot of great stuff for today, but I don't think it's going to be the end to be end all lists that you should be paying attention to. And that's really just because digital marketing has some really deep crevices, and I'm going to kind of brisket across the top here of things that we should look at. However, you really need to go deep within each of these subjects and do your research and plan out the activities that you need to work on. So we're going to cover 7 of them today. These are going to be 7 trends that I think you should pay attention to in 2021. So the first one is going to be investing in social media ads. I don't think this is going to go anywhere. This is just going to continue to grow, And with a lot of the quarantines that are going on and people being at home more, they're just going to be online more, and social media platforms is where we tend to hang out. We need to be prepared to spend more in 2021 than you did in 2020, just because of the amount of time that people are on there and our ability to influence them. We need to expect that the CPCs or cost per click are going to rise. And some of that is just because a lot of people are kind of on the tail end, are flocking in and expecting, to get onto social media platforms. And as more people invest in ads, the more that the prices will go up. Invest, I think this is a given, but invest more time into your paid ads than you do into your organic posting. And that's really just going to go back to an episode that we did on your organic reach and how far that will go. Yeah, it takes a lot of time and effort to put together those graphics. I totally get it. But when only 6% of people who have liked your page are even going to see it, just make sure you're getting the juice worth the squeeze out of the activities that you are doing. Another thing is, as costs start to rise, we need to invest in using different social media platforms, and we need to be smart about it. So we need to understand the demographics of the platform and the targeting before we get into a particular platform and deciding is this the best platform for us to be at. We have to think about our future too. Just because our target audience isn't quite on that platform yet, are they going to be? Are they right on the cusp of one or the other? And so we have to take that into consideration when we're looking at the platform. We did an article a while back. Again, it kind of the same one, but it had a great way to look at the different platforms and what the demographics were. It was why that organic posting is not enough. So you can reference back to that article as well. As you're thinking through, though, these different platforms, don't just try to be on every single one that you possibly can. You really need to think about the manpower that you have in order to create the kind of content that you need on specific platforms. If you don't have enough manpower, then, stay strong in the best platforms for you and don't spread yourself out too thin. Same thing with budget. You don't want to stretch your budget out too far. Now, of course, if you're getting results, then the budget doesn't really matter as long as the company is willing to grow. So you don't want to be spread out, though, in several different platforms, and you just can't quite get the statistical significance to understand what's better and where to pull. Now, each platform, takes a lot of time and energy. So, kind of going back to the platform and whether or not you have the manpower for it, you don't want to be just skimming the top when you could go deeper within those platforms. Make sure you give it enough time. Don't just run one ad and say, well, it didn't work. You got to form a lot of hypotheses about where you think should start. And then you need to, keep going at it until you find what works. The first thing you try probably won't work. It might, but it's a good possibility that it might. And so make sure. If you're not already on, so as far as like what platforms you should look at, Facebook and Instagram are obviously the big ones. Facebook in general, it's got the largest viewership and the most people on it. So that should definitely be in your game. But let's not forget about Tumblr and Pinterest and TikTok and Reddit, Twitter, Snapchat, and on and on and on. There are lots of different social media platforms. And sometimes you can use these other platforms in different ways. Let's say you use Pinterest because the traffic is inexpensive, but then you use Facebook for remarketing. So try to, look at multiple platforms as well, which is a reoccurring theme that we talk about a lot. I just said it a couple minutes ago, but think about in 2021 going deeper within the platforms that you already have. For instance, Google Ads has a lot more than just bidding on keywords. We did a blog a while back, what is in the Google Ads suite of products. And just on that one platform, you've got display ads, you've got Gmail ads, you've got YouTube ads, you've got shopping ads, you've got smart campaigns, and you might not be pulling all those levers yet. So before you jump over into another platform, make sure you're going deep within the platform that you do have. So that's it for number one. So number two, SEO is still valid and always a moving target. I don't think there will ever be a year from here on out where we don't talk about SEO. SEO is really, at the very bare bones definition, it's optimizing for search engines, and I don't think search engines are going to go away. This is something that we're going to see for years to come, so it's always going to make the list to make sure that you are working on your SEO. As far as, what we need to concentrate on, we can kind of go back and take a look at some of the core updates that happened in 2020. So core updates is when Google goes through and it updates its entire algorithm and what it looks like, what it looks at as far as ranking different websites. And, just like the rest of it, it's a constant moving target. So in January, we had a pretty big update and it hit almost all categories. Some of the things that happened in there is the featured snippet deduplication. So you weren't going to show in the featured snippet as well as an organic. And so that really set some people back. And then we had another major update that came in May of 2020. And in this one, there's no shocker here, but content is king. You're always going to need content, whether you're trying to fulfill your organic placements, you're trying to fulfill your blogs, your newsletters, you're fulfilling your ads. It all plays into SEO, and so you've got to think through that different content that is needed. Some of the losers, though, that came out of May 2020 was really thin content that is powered by external factors such as links. So there might have been some content out there that was pretty short and link building was really making those articles work. Well, when the May 2020 update came out, those really were some of the losers that stepped backwards. So think about content that is, fully covers the subject. There's no, if you just write 1,000 words or more, it's fully covering the subject. Another thing that had a lot of major flux during that May update was the local search engine results. And so there's a lot of movement in there. Aggregators and directories really became the winners. So when we talk about those, we're talking about yellow page directories and sites that list multiple different businesses on them. Those really came out winning with the update in May 2020. Some other things that happened with that update was the search engine results page features became in flux. So some of these things are going to be like the rich snippets, which are visual layers to an existing result, such as review stars. paid results, such as Google AdWords, universal results, such as images, new results, featured snippets, the knowledge graph. All of these items kind of were in flux with the May update. Continue to work on schema markup. So this is kind of the technical aspects that can go behind on SEO, and those are some things that you should really be looking into. Another really big item when it comes to SEO is user experience. So Google has come out with what they call Core Web Vitals, and these are really specific factors that Google considers important in a web page's overall user experience. Like, what does that mean? If I click on certain items and I can't get to where I need to go, if things take too long to load, then Google is going to look at that and they're not going to rank your website as high. So these are just overall user experience items in general when people are on your website. Some really good tools to look at when it comes to that is the Google Site Speed and Lighthouse tools. So those will really help you kind of break down and see what do I need to look at. Overall, a new website might be what you need. Some of these items on, especially Core Web Vitals, you might not be able to fix with the existing platform that your website was built on. And so you need to be looking at every 2 years, do I need a new website? And so going into 2021, what are the problems I have and can I fix it with what I have? Essentially, just don't make it hard to do business with you when it comes to your online presence. Another item, we've heard this several years going, but mobile first indexing. What that means is Google is going to look at your mobile version of your website first. It's going to itemize however things lay out and appear and look on your mobile device first before it even pays attention to your desktop version. So make sure that you're paying attention to that going into 2021. And we kind of already mentioned content, but I think this deserves something on its own. If you're not already doing video, hello, here we are, then you really need to get into video. It's just another way to deliver your content, and it allows you to interact with your audience and for people to get to know who you are. So hopefully you guys have really gotten to know who I am. All right, we've gone through 1 and we've gone through 2. So increase in social ads. Number 2, SEO, and we talked about some of the specific things that you should pay attention to within SEO. So number 3, always bring this one up because it's near and dear to my heart, is attribution. It's really just, it's going to get worse for us, and I hate it, and it's sad, but it's not going to get worse for the platforms. It's really going to be masked by machine learning, and so we're going to have to pay attention to that. Marketing multi-touch attribution is what we should be paying attention to. Today's buyers do not just look at one piece of content or information and decide. We don't want to be looking at last channel, which is how Google Analytics looks at it. It's the best free tool out there, but we need to keep that in mind. We need to pay attention to cross-device attributions. Not all of these platforms are able to accurately kind of track that information from one device to the other. Tools are going to get expensive. They attempt to measure it, but they still won't be perfect. So you just really have to evaluate, is the spend worth the extra money, and knowing that additional information. Offline versus online, they obviously affect each other, but it's very hard to measure from one to the other. And just because something's not 100% trackable does not mean that you shouldn't do it. So, why marketing attribution is really getting worse for us is there is a war going on for control of the data, and different platforms want it all. They want to have it all, and they all attribute or give it credit differently. And when you need to be marketing in different channels, it's tough to kind of understand the value because not one or the other is going to give you the accurate information. But there's also a lot of other things going on with this control of people wanting for data. So iOS 14 came out with Apple, and there was lots of privacy announcements. There is no shortage of privacy announcements across different platforms: Apple, Microsoft, Bing, Facebook, Google, that has reduced our ability to understand the marketing attribution. The death of cookies is coming soon. So Safari and Mozilla, Firefox already no longer support third-party cookies, but by the end of 2021, third-party cookies are going to be done as far as Google is concerned. And so that's definitely going to affect marketing attribution as well. We've got governments getting into the game of data as well. So we've got like GDPR over in Europe. We've got Brazil's LGPD. We've got California's CCPA. And, we could have individual states all over that have all these different laws and regulations on what kind of data that we can collect. And so it's really just going to make marketing attribution, as I like to say, a hot mess. So we have done social ads, we have done SEO, we have done marketing attribution, and now let's do number 4. Machine learning and AI will continue to evolve. There's no shortage here, and we really shouldn't be nervous. Any kind of marketing person, because this frees up time for us to focus on strategy. There are a lot of automations that can be done, and the machine learning is just getting better and better. We will always need to know what the levers are to pull, but a lot of these platforms are catching up. Specifically, Google has made huge strides in 2020 on their machine learning, and I've seen a lot of really great stuff out of their smart campaigns. And so we've been getting a lot of that moved over to smart campaigns, but sometimes it didn't quite work, and so we did end up moving back. We just need to take some of these repetitive tasks and deliver additional business value. So I encourage you to try the automated strategies if you haven't already. All right, number 1, increase your social ads. Number 2, work on your SEO. Number 3, I forgot it already. I've gone through too many of these. What was number 3? Attribution. Oh, my favorite. I forgot attribution, and it's going to get worse. Number 4, machine learning and AI will continue to evolve. Number 5, involve your tech stack to improve these automations. So I'm going to put a really scary chart up on the screen. This probably gives you high anxiety. I know it does for me. This is literally the landscape and what it looks like for marketing tech. So what I mean by that are all the softwares that are currently available in marketing. Holy cow. Yes, that is 8,000 MarTech solutions are out there, and it grew 13.6% year over year. So that is huge growth. 1 in 5 of the solutions on this year's MarTech landscape weren't even there last year. So, we have to give it out to chiefmartech.com for coming up with this chart here. But If you're experiencing a problem, there is likely a solution out there. And so I'm encouraging you to look and find the solution and find better ways to automate and get faster. Look for tech that has trials that you can start without having to pay for. Sometimes the less heard of platforms are cheaper and will evolve faster because they have something to prove and they are nimble. They are not huge, giant, tech stacks that are harder to make kind of those adjustments. So as you're getting through those, look at that. One of the biggest growth categories that was on this is data. You would guess it. And my favorite is data. So, I just encourage you to really improve your tech stack as you go into 2021 and look at different items that you can look at. So number 1, social ads. Number 2, SEO. Number 3, marketing attribution. Number 4, marketing automation or AI is going to improve. Number 5, your tech stack. And then number 6 is diversify where you are at. So don't put all your eggs in the same marketing basket. Get into different, or all your eggs is marketing and your basket or your channel. So, we had some examples this year where Facebook ads all of a sudden here in the fourth quarter just started cutting people off randomly, their AI, and shut people down, and people were down for weeks and they didn't do anything wrong. And if that was the only marketing channel you were using, you really, got yourself cut off. Think about algorithm updates when it comes to SEO. And, if you get hit by one and that just really tanks everything you have and you're not doing other types of marketing, then you've got too many eggs in the same basket and you need to kind of move them around. When you're thinking about this, think about your top of funnel, brand new, never heard of you, all the way down to your bottom of the funnel or people who have interacted with you before. What types of marketing do you have going on that are serving both ends of the funnel? And make sure that you've got that going as well. It takes multiple touch points in order to convert somebody. And so it also takes multiple channels to make sure that you're covering all of your bases. So, I said that I was going to have 7, but I only have 6. So I just threw out a surprise there in the end. That's all right. So that is it for today. You can like, subscribe, or follow us on any of our mini channels that we have. We are all over. And again, I'm the owner of elevatedmarketing.solutions. We bring solutions to your digital marketing problems. And my name is Jennifer Denney. If you're not used to it, we do these every 3 weeks. And so in 3 weeks, right before Christmas, in fact, Christmas Eve, we're going to be doing why trying to rank for keywords with SEO is a mistake. And I know there's going to be plenty of people just kind of, whoa, like, what are you talking about? Keywords is where it's at with SEO. No, it's not. And I'm going to argue that point on December 24th at 1 o'clock at our normal time. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks.